people have wanted me to do this for a while. I've said, hey, you know what, I'll do it. But I really, really wanted to give you guys a kind of like authentic starter experience. Now, I am not going to read the story. Okay, that would take us way too damn long. I'm sure some people would want to, but it is what it is. Pressing F11 will do it. Thank you. There you go, chat. See, it's totally not an emulator. Oh god, that looks so smooth. Now, you always start out with the tutorial. The tutorial literally does not matter. You're pretty much forced to do things regardless. I actually should have done... I actually didn't pick the completely optimal composition there. A rash should have been the second card, but it is what it is. You gotta wait through this. This is FGO's version of the tutorial. It's utterly terrible. It never explains anything. Basically, command cards are, again, as you guys can see, it's giving you the little tidbits like, okay, 5 cards are randomly distributed each turn from a pool of up to 15, because again, each character has 5 cards. There are 3 characters on the screen at any given time, usually, so 15. Technically, you can have only 2 characters, and it could be a pool of 10 instead. So that's also something that can be done. Oh, look, now they're telling us to choose 3 cards from the same character, which is a Brave Chain, which then means you get an extra attack afterwards. That's also another thing. There's a lot at play with carding. Carding is actually one of the game's easiest and also simultaneously most complex mechanics. Even I get carding wrong from now and then, mostly because I'm trying to go fast for the purposes of stream. But if I actually sit down and think about it, I'm actually really good. The cards with effective are displayed that can deal heavy damage to opponents. So, interestingly enough, none of it matters because you're facing a Berserker and just about everybody is effective against a Berserker. We can also select 3 of a kind with a chain here. This is going to give us the benefit of a quick chain. And you guys could actually see, for those of you guys that are older veterans, they actually have the new quick card mechanic there where when I selected a quick card, everything else got plus 20% extra critical chance there on it, which is a newer change that was not originally in the game. So again, here they're telling you about the different chains that you can form. Green, all 3 of a kind as a chain would be like, if you choose green cards, it'll be a quick chain that's going to end up getting you extra stars. And if you, stars are basically how you like perform crits in subsequent turns. If you get 3 of a kind that are red, it's going to be additional damage on the current turn. And if you do 3 of a kind that are blue, it's going to increase NP gauge for every card that like every unit's card that you select in that composition will get an additional 20% charge, and you will also basically be able to like kind of just get additional NP gain off of this. The first card you select also, so now they're talking about the lead card bonus. The first card you select impacts the second and third cards, and there's only really one exception to this. There's an actual like more advanced issue with it, but sticking to the basics right now, the only actual exception is Noble Phantasms don't count for this. Noble Phantasms are your special attack. Okay, so it's like, boom, oh look, it's an arts card effective thing, so you're gonna get basically NP gain up. If we chose a quick card, it's boom, you're gonna get critical star drop rate up and an additional 20% crit chance on all cards. So you can see the crit chance changing here on literally everybody's cards. So I'm just gonna again go with a Brave Chain here just to try to get this done a little bit faster. It's not really gonna matter, but it is what it is. Actually, I think they're gonna force me to continue to fight this until I get to my Noble Phantasm. They also have the newer sprites. It's not the old bobblehead sprites that are in here. So they have actually improved the tutorial, but not by very much. Got an MP still, I know. All right, first bonuses for each card type. Again, the quick card lead bonus, as you guys saw, is that you already saw the arts card lead bonus. So again, it basically increases the amount of NP gauge you like your additional cards will get in that 3 card sequence. And then if you do Buster first, it's going to increase the damage. You didn't get to see that one, but oh look, So here's the interesting part. You can use the Noble Phantasm to trigger the lead card bonus, but a Noble Phantasm will never be affected by a lead card bonus. What does that mean? Well, a Buster lead card bonus increases the damage of all the cards in the chain, except a Noble Phantasm. Noble Phantasm doesn't count. However, you can use a Buster Noble Phantasm to set the lead card bonus as Buster to affect the other two cards, which is usually what you want to do. Not always. There's different scenarios where you want to lead off with stuff, but just in general premise, usually leading with your Noble Phantasm and then doing cards is usually the better idea. Did not know that? There you go. Already teaching people. There we go. The Noble Phantasm for Artoria. Excalibur. It's an Excalibur attack. And there we go. Our first tutorial battle finished with units that I will be lucky to get off of the FP summon. Okay. Now foe's gonna QQ at us and I'm gonna skip it. And I'm gonna enter my name. And oh my god, my name could be Mass P. What should my name be? You can change your name at any time. So we can go with anything. Khadroth, I like that. Let's go with that. This is actually going to be Khadroth. You can also change your gender. Again, you can see there that you can swipe to change it. Begin with these settings, sure. Yeah, I actually like starting with the female master because the only times you really see your character are occasional cutscenes like this, but your character almost never actually directly talks. You just choose certain responses. So the only real impact you see is whenever you pop mystic codes during battle, and I would much rather stare at the scantily clad female than the like master, especially because a lot of the time you're using plug suit, and plug suit definitely has some crotch straps that really emphasize the crotch. All I'm saying is I'd rather stare at the female than the male in that regard. What's your gender? I'm a mechanic. Exactly. How's it going, son? Oh man, that loading do be taking a second. Oh, not wanting to run. All right, we start off with Singularity X, Singularity F, Fuyuki. And you guys can see we're at unknown coordinates XA. And basically each one of these is a node. This is gonna be how you're gonna like find quests to do. We're starting out here with basically this is the tutorial Singularity, so this is our first battle. Gonna run in here. It's gonna give us some story. Basically, we're trapped in Fuyuki. Not gonna get too much into details to not spoil people, but essentially, we're gonna be stuck using certain units here for a little bit. For instance, right off the bat, we get to use Mash. Mash is a shielder. She is the only one of her entire type in the game, and currently, that has never been proven wrong. I actually hate this tutorial, and you'll see why here in a second. This tutorial is trying to teach you something, but it's actually a situation that never exists ever anywhere else in the game other than right here. There is never a point where you will ever have empty cards. It does not exist. Because when a character is solo, you will instead just get all 5 of that character's cards constantly. There are situations in which you can have a broken chain where you can't use someone's cards. Let's say if we had Mash and then we had another unit like Artoria here, and Artoria was stunned. If Artoria was stunned and she had 3 cards, you could not use her cards. So you would have to pick one, and it would cause a broken chain, but you would still basically have to select 3 cards. So anyways, that aside, it's saying the green card's trait will increase the critical rate on the next turn, the red card's trait will increase the attack damage on the next turn, and the blue card's trait will fill the MP gauge faster. That is your TLDR of them, and they're 100% right. Like, this is actually more informative than the first tutorial in that regard. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and click in, and you can see it's kind of forcing us to, we can get a lead card bonus, and then an empty card, though there's not going to be anything here, and then we're technically going to want the third card to get, like, basically cards get more damage the later in a chain they are, naturally. They get increased effects. So I just put Mash's card third since I wanted the lead card bonus and the end card. And the middle card didn't matter, though admittedly I don't even think we got the lead card bonus there. Servants also have skills. Every servant has 3 skills, though admittedly some units not at first. You may have to do something to unlock their 3rd skill. It is what it is. Don't worry about that. If you're new to the game, you're going to be leveling up characters. They're only going to have like 1 or 2 skills at first. Every character has 3 skills as you move through and do their ascensions, and they will unlock the skills. Some of the original characters, though, however, will only have like 2 skills, and you might have to go do an interlude or a strengthening separate from their normal ascensions to get that 3rd skill. It's still there for you. It's just it may have some unlock requirements. Okay, servants have skills that feature various effects. Tap the icon to use a skill. So you guys can see here, this is Obscurant Wall of Chalk. It applies invincible for 1 turn, which means she cannot take damage unless the enemy has some sort of way of piercing this or removing it. And increases NP, aka the gauge, for 1 ally. So it's a targeted effect whenever it says 1 ally. You're gonna say, okay, we're gonna apply it to Mash. Mash can now not take damage because the skeleton can't do jack crap to us. And it says a spent skill can be used again after a fixed number of turns. There is no limit to the number of skills that can be used per turn. Technically true. You're going to be limited by the cooldown, but technically it's true. They're just asking us to do this, and finally you get to turn it on battle speed too. Thank God. We're just going to go with a nice brave chain here. You usually want cards that have additional crit chance later in a chain as well, because again, your later in the chain cards hit harder. So what do you want? You want your 1st card to crit, or you want your 3rd card to crit? You usually want your 3rd card to crit. Okay, we get some master experience. It's going to dictate our level and various other bonuses that we're going to get. We get Mystic Code experience. It's going to also dictate the Mystic Code that we're bringing to every battle, which is where our master's skills come from. Your master will have skills, and they will change depending on which Mystic Code you have equipped. We also got an Ember. These are basically going to be our experience cards in the game. We got QP. This is your sort of just like currency for leveling people and doing their skills and stuff like that. You will have other materials required for things, but this is just sort of the in-game currency is what it is. Think of it as like gold in other games or something like that. Okay, I'm gonna skip the story again. Feel free to read it. I highly recommend reading FGO story. It is literally the main attraction of the game. And it's going to take forever to load. Okay, now rewards are much, much nicer than they used to be. Used to be back in the day, you might have gotten this and this. Now you also get materials and pure prisms. Okay, we're now on to the 2nd node here. Numbers displayed above locations denote the number of quests left to be cleared. So you can see we have another one that we're going to be doing here. This is section 2. We're going to skip it. And we're going to go right into the battle. All of these are kind of like pre-planned. You'll get the exact same battles as I will. Okay. So we're going to start out here. Basically, we have skills. Again, you guys can see just a little bit of a kind of primer here. This is telling you that there are 2 waves. This is the first battle of 2 in a sequence that you'll have to do. There is 1 enemy remaining in this wave. You are currently on turn 1. You have 3 command spells. It's kind of difficult to see, but the first one is like right here. The second one is right here, and the third one is here. You basically have your battle menu up here where you can control various things, including the volume level of the game. Oh, wait, hold on. I think I want skip enemy fade out on. You want to keep that one off, and I think confirm skill use you want off. It depends. If you're new to the game and you find that you really need to read everything and you're unsure of what to do, you could definitely keep confirm skill use on. You definitely want skip enemy fade out off. You have your master skills over here. Again, these are from your mystic code. So like I said, these will change throughout time, but you can level up mystic codes and make these stronger in the same way that you can level up a character and make them stronger. Again, here's your attack with your cards. You can see cards selected later will have bonus effects. The first card you select will impact the second and third cards. Pay close attention to the order of your selections. I usually really like doing arts Q arts here. Again, just a maximum NP gain. You get the extra NP gain from putting arts first, but you also get more NP gain from putting it third. You're going to find arts cards are really nice because it's going to be how you get to your Noble Phantasm. Though admittedly, I'm not really going to need it here. You can tap an enemy to switch targets. Sorry, I was already on the right one. And again, you can touch here to do this. And yeah, now they're talking about critical stars. Critical stars are randomly distributed. There is an internal star weight to each card that's kind of a random factor. But beyond that, there's also just a factor of the more stars you have, the more likely a card is to get more. There is a maximum of 5 cards that can appear at any given time in any hand. Therefore, if each card can only have up to 10 stars, so basically 1 star is worth 10% crit chance. If you have 10 stars, then on a card, you would have 100% crit chance. What this means is that at 50 stars, you would have 100% crit chance on all of your cards. At 30 stars, you'd have good crit chances on a couple of your cards. So it's definitely going to be random, at least unless you have 50, but there is at least a good way to kind of secure crits a lot of the time. Beyond 50, it's kind of useless. There are some additional things in the game that can do that, but don't worry too much about it. Again, they're making us select an empty card, which is just not something that will normally happen. And even stupider is the fact that it will actually not let us switch targets. So there are some things that you can do to switch targets. Just to show you the skill usage again here, I can basically pop this. Her first skill is also going to increase her defense and give her a damage. Actually, sorry, not yet. Give her defense and stuff. Oh, are they actually going to explain Mighty Chain? This would be really interesting here. So, there we go. I got a Mighty Brave Chain. It's actually a really good one. That would not have been the case back in the day, but now I can just do that. Mighty Chains are something the game hasn't explained to you yet, but basically Mighty Chains are you choosing 3 different card types. So, Quick, Arts, and Buster in the same hand. If you choose all 3 of them, you will get what's known as a Mighty Chain. Mighty Chains confer different effects. The biggest thing with them is that they make your lead card bonus all 3 cards at the same time. So you get the benefit of having a Buster, Arts, and Quick lead card bonus, regardless of what card you chose. As long as the 3 cards that make up your hand are Quick, Arts, and Buster in any order that you choose. And I have an entire video on that. Feel free to go watch that. Helped me a lot? Yeah. Glad to know. Okay. Skipping this and going into the next one. Getting additional rewards. All right, now you can go to the main menu. Please tap the main menu button. Please proceed to summon. All right, this is going to be our initial summon here. So your first summon cannot get an SSR. This is just a freebie. Everybody gets it. Just go for it, okay? The deal is there are people that are going to make a big stink about which of these characters you get. I actually talk about it a ton in my new player guide that's out there. Basically, there are definitely better pulls here, but I'm gonna be real with you. It's not the end of the world, and I will literally go with whatever the game picks for me. But you can absolutely min-max it and reroll. It's just, obviously, there's forced fights. It's gonna take you a bit. Let's see what we get. This is also an improved summon nowadays. They've actually really added to it. All right, so we get a Saber first off, and it's Faber, aka Gaius Julius Caesar. Caesar's actually pretty decent. Survivability is his big issue. Assassin. Jekyll and Hyde. That is not a good pull, but I could definitely do stuff with him still. Jekyll and Hyde is arguably one of the worst units in the game, but you can still, even the worst units in FGO, you can still make them serviceable. Another assassin, please just don't be another Jekyll and Hyde. Jinki, okay, definitely a better choice there. She's anti-king, she's quick. Definitely one of the things you kind of look for in assassin is usually a star generator to some degree. So she actually serves as a traditional assassin in that sense. Caster. Mephisto. Of course we get the crotch clown, my literal least favorite unit. He's not bad. He's just my least favorite unit. I hate clowns. Divine Banquet. Ooh, that's actually a nice one. That's NP gain up. That's a really good CE to start out with. Definitely starting charge would have been better, but I will take it. Another saber. Gilda Ray Saber. Oh boy, the game is giving me the worst possible results it can. Yeah, if anything, what you're looking for and what you really want out of your roles is you want diversity at first. So a Lancer here, at least this is someone new. All right, Hector. Hector's not going to be the most survivable unit, but Hector's definitely a pretty decent farmer. And Gold Orbs, this is going to be our 4-star. Caster. Uh-oh. Nitocris. Oh, this is... Damn, that's too easy. The game gave me one of the game's best farmers. Nitocris is a 100% charging unit that is actually just, like, really, really good for me. She's also a death proc unit. Projection's also nice. That's arts up. We definitely already have the makings of some decent arts composition here. Iron Will Training's actually not bad either. Gold Assassin? Satheno. Oh no. Yeah, of course I would. Of course I'd get the traditional Satheno. Now we're gonna have to wait through every single one of the servant introductions. Pay attention to them. They're fantastic. I highly recommend you you watch them. But yeah, I definitely, to one degree, I got a really good pull, and then to another degree, I really didn't. So it's just how this one works. But again, you usually do now, I believe, get double SSR, or sorry, double SR from this initial pull. That's something that they changed about it. They increased the quantity of 4-star CEs and servants that this initial pull can give you. Because it used to be people would just get one, and it was not too hot. God, I hate him. Just... Let me skip him. There we go. Yeah, actually, I can skip these, so I will skip through these. And it's funny, because servant introductions back then for some of these units, really fast. More recent units have very long introductions. Like you can see, he at least had 2 lines. But we'll have units that'll give you entire, like paragraphs of things. Nitocris is fantastic, though, for this account. See, you can see her introduction is a little bit longer. Nita's a very strong starter unit. She really is. She's actually one of my best picks for what people can start the game with. Chat, I can't believe we started out with a rare prism. Just kidding. Obviously we didn't. All right, so we're going to go ahead and close. It says you summon a servant. Next, try to set up your party. So this is party formation, party setup. Basically, you can take 6 units to a party, though admittedly, most of the time you'll be taking 5 because a friend support will be one of the ones that you'll choose. Tap the servant you summoned earlier. I don't want to take... I want to take that one. I don't want to... It's forcing it. You can now have a servant join your party. Tap OK. Tap close. Tap close. Fantastic. It's so on rails it won't let me do anything else. Satheno is your starter chosen by the game. You have to accept it. I reject this reality. Okay. So again, what it's saying there is, hey, you can have multiple stages to complete a node. That's perfectly fine. These are each individual battles. but there will be other ones. Now you're at select support screen. This is where you'll choose friend supports. Now you may, sorry, not may, you will not have any friends when you start the game, but you can definitely get people on your friends list, or you can follow people now, which is definitely something that can be done. We're up against Saber. Let's take this level 100 NP5 Gilgamesh. It's certainly a weak Gilgamesh. Why would I ever use it? We're gonna go ahead and start the quest. There's nothing else I can do here. You guys will see Gilgamesh will definitely just start smacking stuff. No friends? Yep, no friend. Yeah, if you guys want to add this account, feel free to, but honestly, to a degree, it may be better to do it with no friends. All right, so it's 1 out of 2. Gilgamesh has a charisma attack, which is 3 turns of attack up. Also NP gain there, as you guys can see. We are literally just going to, oh my god. We are just going to laugh at this. So I just gave him his NP gain up. We're actually just going to go, you know what? Let's go best possible. This is going to be a mighty chain, but it's going to be a mighty brave chain. So it's 3 of a kind, 3 different cards, but 3 different cards of the same unit. So it's also going to get an extra attack. And I'm actually going to go for the variant that would give theoretically the most NP gain, which is to start out, sorry, not NP gain, star generation is what I'm trying to say. The most star generation here. So I'm going to actually start out with the arts card that does the least star generation, the buster card second that does the second most, and the quick card that does the most in the 3rd slot. And this is functionally as if I had chosen to lead still with a quick card. This will set me up really nice for stars going into the next turn. I didn't need NP gain. I'm already over 100% to get to his Noble Phantasm. But you know what? Why don't we show you guys Gilgamesh's Noble Phantasm? It's not going to matter. This is easily killable. Also, if you ever want to alternate targets, 1, you can still do it up here from the icons. 2, you can still do it in here as long as you haven't chosen a card. And 3, if you ever need to like have attacks hit one or the other, obviously if you kill an enemy, your attacks can switch, but you can also abuse it for this extent where you can like say, if I were to do both Satheno cards here and the first one killed, the second one would still go into that enemy, which would allow me to get overkill, extra NP gain, extra stars generated. Really nice if you can do something like that. But technically that's a waste to a degree because you're not killing the other target. So if you ever want to switch targets, what you do is you just select 2 different cards from different units and it will switch. You can also stagger by using things like a Noble Phantasm will allow you to switch targets in that regard. But it's not going to matter because nothing's going to live through this Noble Phantasm. And here it is, Gil's iconic Inima Elish, as he pulls out his alien sword and prepares to yeetus deletus. And there he goes. Did 316k. It's please understand, your Gilgamesh will not do that much, not at first. This is basically a maxed out Gilgamesh. Oh man, 1 master experience away from leveling up. Of course it wouldn't let me. So again, it's talking about the friends and follow thing. Here are the icons for it. You could definitely friend someone, but you have to friend request them, so they have to accept it as well. They may be full, they may not accept you because you're a new master. I have a whole section of the new player guide talking about that, and also some tips for you if you are someone that's new that can get somebody to maybe accept you, because a lot of the times more veteran players will look at a new player and they'll just be like, oh, this player doesn't care, I'm not going to bother. And there's ways you can tell. Another master who follows you or has added as a friend, use your support servant. You received friend points whenever they use yours. And that's definitely nice. And basically, it's, again, you can see you'll receive friend points more if the master is your friend than if they're not. You can take people that are not. They've actually fixed that. There used to be some issues with taking somebody who wasn't your friend, like you couldn't use their Noble Phantasm, which really was a reason why you almost never wanted to do it. Nowadays, it's not an issue. That's been completely fixed, so you don't have to worry about it. Follow the player who supported you. If you follow a player, you can choose to use their servant in as a support in main story battles. Sure, why not? Go with it. Now, for who to follow, find a whale with a really good account. Has a lot of really well-equipped units, really high noble phantasm levels, that sort of thing. Here's how to strengthen servants. Select enhancement from the main menu. Go to enhance. You're gonna make me level Sethino, aren't you, game? All right, so basically it's showing you like, hey, it'll increase the HP and level, and once they've kind of hit their cap, you can ascend them. And this is just showing you the different varieties of experience cards. It's basically 1-star through 5-star. Obviously, 1-star gives the least, 5-star gives by far the most. A 5-star experience card that's of the correct class gives basically 100,000 experience. It's really, really good. All right. Yep. It's gonna force me to level Sethino. I hate you, game. No, I don't want to use the. No, let me use the 1-star. You don't have to use the appropriate class one, but obviously if you do, if you sync them up, you're good. There's also all class embers that work on everything, so don't have to worry about that too much. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and select enhance. You guys can see there's a QP required cost associated with this. So this is the thing. Early on, your QP won't be too much of an issue, but as you start working on unit skills, it'll immediately become an issue. Be very careful with QP. Don't spread yourself too thin. Try to like focus on some key units early on. But again, I'm gonna say early in the game, there's not a whole lot you can do wrong, so don't worry about it. Punishing you for rolling Sethino? It is what it is. All right, so we got login bonus rewards. Special ascension, so I can actually take a character, max them out. I recommend holding on to this and saving this for a 5-star character if you get one, but you can use it on a 4-star. Basically, this will just put them to their maximum ascension, not maximum level. You still have to level them the last couple levels, but it'll put them through that maximum ascension, which will absolutely cheapen the cost of leveling the character for you. So you will get a whole lot of stuff. We are going to get a free SSR though, so it is what it is. Special ascension authorization will be revoked if you do not use it within the time limit. I actually don't believe there is a time limit on this initial one, but it is what it is. Okay. We're just waiting. So you can see the person I have followed showed up here again. But we can see other characters potentially too. So let's see here. Usually a good indicator is whatever level they are. Right now on an A, people that are like in the 160 range are close to max level. Eventually we'll be headed towards 170. And JP, as of right now, is already got people at 180. Kind of gazing through here. Mine and how it will be for you is initially sorted by login. That's usually the way you want to do it because the most recent people appear first, whereas like you can get people that'll show up that it's like, oh, they haven't logged in days. But it's very rare for that to be a thing. Let's go look at his support setup. He's got a Merlin. He's got a Scotty. I'm looking actually at some of the meta supports he has. He's got a Koyanskaya. And he's got a Castoria. Okay. This is definitely a really good account to follow. Okay. So it says you can set up servants and craft essences. We don't have a whole lot of craft essences, but we do have some. Party cost will also be a factor for you, especially early on in the game, as you're not going to have a whole lot. It's just telling you, hey, look, this is the class tendency that'll appear in the node. Basically, the enemies you're going to face and what their classes are. Sometimes it's a question mark, which sucks. There's nothing you can do about that. You can tap on the character's icon to change which character is in which slot. You can also move slots around by pressing the lineup button down there at the bottom. And you can change craft essences. And you can also change where the friend support is. It's by default in the 3rd slot here, but you can change it to other parts, including your backline if you so choose. I'm surprised they're actually telling you about teapots. Teapots increase your bond. I would not touch that for right now. Though, depending on how long you may have a time limit. It may only be a couple of days, depending on when you start the game. So feel free to go ahead and use them. Okay, so tap whichever craft essence you want to equip. Craft essences increase HP and attack. Basically, it is a just standard. It's like gear in other games, or like a light cone in Honkai Star Rail, for instance. So this is a very familiar concept for a lot of you guys that have played other gacha games. Basically, just a way to increase your character's HP and or attack, also while conferring an additional effect to them. Usually one of the best things you can look for in a craft essence is starting charge. There are obviously some exceptions. Damage is meta in this game, so some things are just better in that regard. Okay, so this is Sathino. Honestly, let's just give her the defense up one for right now. I really don't care, because we're immediately going to slot in some other people if the game will allow me to. Yeah, we're going to go with arts card effectiveness here. And we're actually going to slot Sathino out because it's not really going to matter too much. This is a Lancer, so if you know your sort of rock, paper, scissors triangles of the game, sabers do more to Lancers, Lancers do more damage to archers, and archers do more damage to sabers. And again, each one of those, like, basically a saber will do more damage to a Lancer, but it'll also take less damage from a Lancer. So it's usually what you want to do is you want to take the appropriate class for that. So we're going to load in both my sabers here into the back line. I could obviously put them in the front. It's not really going to matter. This entire node's going to die really quickly because, again, we have a level 100. The max level in the game right now currently is 90. Anybody that's higher than that with a character, it's because they have grailed the character, which means that you can increase their levels beyond the maximum. 120 is the current maximum levels. Again, here is my Mystic code. It has first aid on it, which is a heal, which is really nice. It has attack up for 1 turn, and it also has a hard evasion for 1 turn. Sometimes you'll get evasion effects that are like 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. This is for an entire turn, so it's definitely nice. It's a get out of jail free card, basically, if an enemy has a noble phantasm, or if you're just worried that the character's gonna die, unless the character has things like sure hit, invuln pierce, or buff removal. Or again, maybe they already put buff block on you and you can't apply it to yourself. So you got to be careful about some of the stuff. There's various effects that you have to watch out for in the game. Damn, putting your main unit in the back. You're damn right I am. All right, so I'm going to kind of show you guys how it's like to alternate between things here. So obviously I know that Charlemagne's card here, and a lot of times you actually want to go Buster first. So I'll go ahead and show you that. So we're gonna let Mash and Nitocris team up to kill this first skeleton, and then we're going to let Charlemagne kill the other one, because they killed it, and then because it was a different unit's card, it switched targets. Now we've got 3, so I'll have to hope that this is strong enough. Again, knowing mighty chains as I do, I'm actually going to do weird things. You can actually mix things up. So I can attack the leftmost target, and it will then default back to the rightmost target as I go to do this. And then I'm going to basically choose his card first, Mash's card here, and then we're going to choose the Buster card from Nitocris in the final slot to hopefully kill. Basically, each one of these cards, though, gains the effect as if almost there was a Buster card lead enhancing the damage. You can see you also do get some tutorial missions and things like that. They're going to give you rewards. We've leveled up. This has increased my max HP. This is max AP. This has increased my max friend slots, and it's also restored all of my AP. Very early in the game, you will level up a ton, and you will just constantly have maxed out AP. I recommend you use it as much as you can, but it's also a little bit of a treasure trove for you. We're going to go ahead and follow this person. You can also friend request them too if you want, but like I said, keep in mind, especially early in your game, unlikely to get a lot of people to actually like accept you. Some people will be nice and accept a new player, but it is what it is. All right, so section 3 here. I need these to go away. You can usually click them or drag them to make them go away. You're dealing with a saber and a lancer. So obviously an archer counters a saber, but a lancer counters an archer. One of the things you could do here is you could take a berserker that's effective against everybody, but is also everybody's effective against them. Or you could just say, hey, you know, maybe I'm just going to take a saber who would be effective against the lancer and be neutral against his same class. Totally up to you. I'll go ahead and show you guys berserker here because I feel like that will definitely be a cool thing. Who should we show off? Let's go ahead and let's show off Morgan Le Fay, as people definitely like themselves a good Morgan. I'll also I don't know, let's pull in Caesar here to show people him. I highly recommend take your time early on in the game a little bit, get used to some of the units, get used to the way the game works, learn what their kits are, what certain skills and effects do, and you can read. The game will tell you at least some, but unfortunately a lot of the info isn't necessarily in the game. You may have to go to other websites like FGO fandom, that sort of stuff in order to get more details on it. You can also check out my new player guide or any of the videos that I have on any of these subjects. Hopefully they do an adequate job of explaining things to you. I'm gonna stagger the cards here again just to get this dead, and it should work pretty swimmingly. I got a lucky crit there, actually. Mighty chains are actually really good. You almost always want to do them at this point now that they are in the game. There was a period in time where they were not. I'm gonna use Morgan's first skill here. She basically has a 30% charge for herself and also an attack up for the entire party and a defense down for the entire enemy wave. So it's really nice. I'm also gonna go ahead and use my Mystic Code skill, my attack up skill, and I'm gonna use that on Morgan Le Fay. Good practice whenever you're gonna Noble Phantasm is try to stack buffs. And you guys are gonna see, we're gonna let Morgan fire off her Noble Phantasm as she looks down upon these simpletons with disgust. And there you go. Easily handled them. Obviously, it's a little bit of overkill, but it is what it is. Okay, you guys can also see, actually, one thing I skipped through there, all those characters, other than the friend support character that we took, got bond experience. So that's definitely another thing to keep in mind. You can see we're getting missions done. There's also currently a download campaign active. This will not always be the case. It just depends on, again, when you start the game. See, mine's struggling to load all of this. I have 12 different messages. Game doesn't like that I put a berserker in the party this early. All right, we're gonna investigate here. All right, now we're up against archers. So now we have lancers. I recommend, again, finding another person here. Oh my God, who is this beautiful person with a Lartoria? Lartoria is one of my favorite characters. However, I maybe am gonna refresh and see if I can get a better one. Get somebody that's actually deserving of getting a follow here. No. I'm not gonna find it, and I know it. There's a level 91. Don't have that kind of time? Oh, don't worry, you're fine. And feel free to constantly keep updating your list and looking for like really good accounts. There is a limit to how many accounts you can follow. I believe it's like 5 at first. That's a level 100 one. I'm being picky, chat, I know. Erish is right there, Cad. Don't worry about it, chat. I'm not gonna make us do this forever. I will just pick someone eventually. I'm just trying my luck. Raiko Lancer for the win. Yeah, some units are really, really old in that regard. They can be quite rare. Damn, so far the first Lartoria was the best Lartoria. Yeah, I'll go with this. This is actually a really good account. Okay, so we're going to take Lartoria here. You will occasionally see other skills pop up. So you see the skills here are 10, 10, 10. But then there's this second rung that's 0, 0, 0. These are your append skills. They're a separate set of them. They're more like passive enhancements. Don't worry about them too much early on. They're actually more of a like end game type of thing. But at least for right now, it's not a huge concern if they're like 0 or something like that. Okay, in we go. So Lartoria has a 3-turn attack up. She's also got 50% self-charge. We're basically... Oh, unfortunately, I did leave him in here. So we're actually going to go ahead and throw one of his cards in. And we'll use that to stagger because he's not going to kill. He's a level 1 getting counterclassed. He's not going to kill. Okay, this is 2 out of 2. We're going to pop her Mana Burst. It's Buster Up, and then particularly Anti-Chaotic and Anti-Evil, which I believe skeletons are both, so this may be overkill. And we're going to go ahead and pop the Mystic attack buff on her. And we'll even do a Mighty Chain here, though nothing's going to live through this Noble Phantasm. Now, maybe you don't take as strong of units as I'm taking here. Maybe you try to resolve each of these battles with your own units. It's certainly possible. It's certainly fine. Again, get used to the game. Figure things out about it. Play around with it. The early game, the early singularities are kind of your time to do that. Things start getting more serious around, I'd argue, like the 5th singularity, and then definitely the 6th. Damn, imagine you could get Habitrot early. You could. God, it does not like all of these pop-ups. Basically, your entire goal here is to just get through Fuyuki basically as fast as possible. Let's see. So it's Saber and Archer. Archer beats Saber. So we could try to take a Lancer to beat the Archer, but then Saber beats Lancer. So the choice is yours. Archer is a safe play. I'll show you guys. I showed you guys Berserker before. So what if I show you guys what it's like to take basically another another like neutral class instead? Skills here are not the best. Ooh, no split supports. There are little things you can look at to see if an account is like truly well taken care of. It's not the end of the world if they don't have certain things. Like, again, the split support's not like a huge deal, but it does mean it's like, okay, I don't have access to more servants for them. Maybe that's the only servants that they have. It's definitely possible. Who is this J fellow? Hmm. Oh, different picks here. Got a Van Gogh grailed as well to 119. Kind of terrifying. I'll take it. Yeah, you know what? Why don't we take, instead of taking his Squirtoria, why don't we take his big boy? Has 2 golden sumos, older account. Okay, so right off the bat here, I don't have a Lancer, right? But I do have an Archer. So the Archer is going to be effective against the Sabers, but he'll be neutral against this, which means he's not going to deal less damage, but he's not going to deal more damage. He's going to be right smack in the middle. So it's an effective way sometimes of getting through, even though you're not dealing effective damage. Now, Super Orion's really interesting for a lot of reasons. One of those is that Super Orion, he hits kind of hard. That is literally the best thing I can say about it. However, I'm not going to attack boost 10. I'm going to attack boost Faber, and I'm going to try to make it through this by using a Faber card, because this should default back to the first one. Hopefully, Faber can actually manage to kill the skeleton, but we'll see. He didn't, so it is what it is, and unfortunately we had to crit that poor skeleton for the amount that was pretty much the sum total of a noble phantasm. It is what it is, chat. Let's do a mighty chain, put his card third just to ensure this kills. It didn't matter, we didn't even need his card. I will follow him again. I'll basically keep following people until I get to the max, then I'll start friend requesting people. Because you need follows to at least, like, okay, now I have people I can rely on. And that's usually how I would approach things early on. Especially because the odds of success of getting somebody to approve your friend request is fairly low for a new account. Come on, there we go. All right, this one is 3 of a kind. You could definitely take one of the extra classes. That's getting a little complex. I'm not going to get into that too much. There are like other types of classes in the game. So for instance, a pretender is effective against all the knight triangle of classes. We'll just go with a berserker again. It definitely works. Everybody should understand that to some degree. Why don't we take... let's take a Hercules here. A Fate Stay Night favorite. Hey, good for you, Cursed. Why are all these AP numbers yellow? Because I'm capped out. Swipe up and down for the support list and don't need a scroll wheel. Okay. Sweet. Yeah, I'm not used to playing with mouse, but it is what it is. So Herc is actually what we like to refer to as a cockroach. He's a, collectively speaking, very tough unit to kill. Especially if you play him right. Though, some of that depends on whether or not you have bond Cs to him equipped, which is what happens when you get a character's bond all the way maxed out. Well, kind of. Exceptions to that. I'm not gonna like get into that too much, but basically Herc is a just absolute monster of a challenge unit. He works really well in some of the game's hardest fights. Go ahead and give him his attack up. We're gonna also dodge him, not that he's really in any threat of dying. I'll try it that way. It probably will not work. Yep. Didn't min turn. Feels bad. Go with a triple buster chain. Sometimes the 3 of a card are still better than a mighty chain at what their given gimmick is. So for raw damage, triple buster is still the most damage, more than even a mighty chain. However, the mighty chain would be the second best thing. Same thing with regards to... Let's check his account. Castory with Bomb C. Maxed out skill is usually a good sign of a well taken care of account too. And they've actually split it between event and normal support. This is a good account. I'm gonna follow them. And that's one of the ways that I do that. Like, these sorts of things are not easy for a new player to do, is to, like, how do you evaluate someone's account? And that's kind of why I'm trying to talk you guys through a little bit what I'm looking at. I'm looking at not only who they have, but I'm also looking at the skill levels that they have. You're not going to know who's good at first when you're first starting the game out, but one of the things you can look at is like the level of an account, which is going to tell you how much they've played. You can look at the skill levels on their characters, which at 10 is the maximum. That's going to tell you, okay, they're actually investing in their count, they're leveling up their units, they're actually managing to max them out. And that's a good sign that it's a good quality account for you to follow, or again, maybe try to friend request down the line. There are some meta support units as well. You'll see me occasionally from time to time look at them. This will be our first Rider battle here. We do have assassins are the counter to them. I'm just checking out another account here. Definitely some interesting units, though I am noticing a lot of sameness with some of the other accounts that I've gone for. Only two instead of a 3 possible support list setup. Could be decent. This one actually at least has, like, they don't have a huge support list of like that third one being added with more characters, but they do have different characters than what I've chosen, and most of the characters do at least seem decently well taken care of. That being said, some of them are not, so I think I'll abstain from that one as well. We have a 162 account. This is definitely somebody that's pretty high. It's basically my level at this point. They have the newest unit to the game, so they've recently rolled. Yeah, this one's fine. We will go with Maguma here. We look and we judge. No, I mean, early on, it's like, it's no knock against the player. It's more you're looking for good accounts for your account to follow to give yourself the best chances of success. Especially if you're starting out and you're not starting out with like friends and stuff like that. You're not going to know anyone. You're going to be like, oh man, how do I get through this? So unfortunately, Rider does counter Caster. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to switch our lineup and we're going to pull in Satheno again. And Satheno is actually an assassin and will at least be effective here. We do also have another assassin in the back line here for Jing Qi that we can pull in, and I will also switch my back line, basically bonding in Jekyll and Hyde at least some. Can you explain what an esports servant is? Kind of an advanced concept, but an esports servant is where you purposely keep the unit low because the first skill is particularly useful in some way, shape, or form. Sometimes it can be like second skill, but like basically you keep their level low so that you can use their skill and then get them killed to rotate the party fast. It's kind of an advanced strategy. You don't really need to do anything like that. It's not a huge deal. Okay, so Kayanskaya is actually one of the meta supports here. She has a Buster Up. She has a anti-human and anti-man trait that also gives a star bomb of 20 stars. And she also has a targeted 50% charge skill that, while it does reduce the party's HP by a bit, which almost killed my level 1 there, hilariously enough, she does have the ability to reduce her own skill cooldowns or anybody else that she targets with that skill. So it's definitely a nice effect there. And you can see she does good damage. Yeah, you usually don't want to HP foe them. So you can see I could not friend request that person, which means their friends list is full. That's going to happen quite a bit, but that's also a sign they have a good account. If their friends list is full, they have a good account and they take care of it. Ryder was cooked there. It happens. And then nothing in Fuyuki is particularly hard. You will see there are occasionally free quests and stuff there. I'd ignore them for like right now as you're trying. What you want to do is you want to get through the tutorial as fast as possible. Okay, so this is an assassin. So now we need to take a caster. Now there are meta supports like Castoria there. Merlin's also another pretty decent one. Scotty's another one. So you're going to see a lot of like caster support in some of these, but what you're going to want at least some of the time is going to be a damage dealer. So I'm actually going to go with Holly or King here, who has a damage dealing caster up. It's one of the reasons that I did choose his account. Because again, damage dealing caster, definitely going to be nice. We're going to swap Nitocris back in because again, she's going to be effective there. I don't believe I got, oh, I did get another caster, unfortunate. So we'll put him in there. You don't have to have craft essences on everybody. It's not a huge deal, especially early on. But definitely craft essences just make your character stronger. He's your favorite though. Yeah, I love Mephisto. Don't forget your free FP roll. Oh, that's a good point. I probably should do my daily free FP roll since it's going to reset soon. Okay, so Sanzang has an 80% charge skill, assuming her skill has been leveled. Her second skill, assuming it has been enhanced, also has an attack up. It's also a taunt, which will draw all enemies' attacks towards her. And she has a party-wide NP gain up and debuff immune. It's really, really nice. Sanzang's a really solid single target option here. As you can see, she's basically just going to give this guy the palm of her hand. Gives him that E-Honda and just yeets him into the mountain. He gets Doskoid. There we go. We leveled up again. So you're going to keep doing that. You will not level up infinitely, but early on in the game, you will level up a ton. Just understand it is a free AP bar every time you do. So that can be really annoying if you're trying to not let your AP rot. I can't even see what's in here. There we go. This time an NPC servant is available for support. Select it right away. Honestly, a lot of the times I don't select NPC supports, but they can definitely be good depending on the situation. So we are going to be relying a little bit on our own units. I have not leveled up anybody yet, so we're going to go... Nope, not you. We're going to make sure that we at least have some options here. Caster Ku is at least level 18, which is much higher than any of my units. I missed my 2000 AP bar. That's exactly how my JP account started out. It was glorious. Is optimal Apple use advanced tactics? Not really. That's actually a basic thing you need to understand. You can go ahead and dodge him because he has protection from arrows, which is a 3 times evade with defense up for 3 turns. So he's going to be very difficult to bring down. Ku is another one of the cockroach characters in the game, and almost all of his forms have this effect. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't have the arts up because I haven't done the enhancement for it yet. He also does potentially have a charge skill, but I haven't done the enhancement for that. So basically, we're just going to let Ku kind of do his business. We're going to form an arch chain that's going to give, obviously, more NP gain, but it's also, remember, going to give any unit that was included in that chain, so Caesar and Ku, 20% charge right up front. So it's really, really nice for that. You can see Ku got hit like once, and now he's at his Noble Phantasm. So Ku is going to Wicker Man these hoes. So go ahead and select the Sabers cards, because if anything lives, it'll actually be the Lancer, not the Assassin, who Ku is actually a counter towards. Caster beats Assassin, Assassin beats Rider, Rider beats Caster. That is the way the Cavalry triangle works. Forgot to use Caesar's skill? No, I didn't. There we go. Got it done. Continue onward. And again, if you're worried about like understanding the way cards work, I have videos on that. If you're feeling overwhelmed by it, just play around with it. There's really no harm. It's very difficult to actually lose any of these battles. Even if you do lose somehow, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Okay. Got another one here. So you can take Caster Ku again. He is a support. You actually get 200 FP. So I'm going to do that. I'm actually going to abuse that early on because that's something I kind of want to do a little bit. But this does mean that I'm not going to have like some stupidly OP unit constantly roaming around in the party. So I'm going to have to card right and play a little bit smart here. Though, admittedly, it's not really going to take much brain power. Like I said, you get really used to like carding in FGO after a while, and it's one of those deals where the more you learn it, the better it suits you, so you don't have to do too much with it. Okay, so we have the makings of a Mighty Chain, but if I choose his Mighty Brave Chain, I won't be able to stagger cards. He is the only one with a Buster card, though, so it's probably to my benefit to utilize that effectively. So we're actually going to choose the other two cards there. Unfortunately, he didn't kill, which means we're not going to one-turn this. But there's no problem with that. I can actually potentially abuse this for a little bit extra NP gain. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to let Caesar hit both of these attacks. So we got a little bit of overkill there with the second attack, which was his quick card. Quick cards do at least do less NP gain than an arts card, but they still get some. So basically that was just kind of abusing some additional star generation and things like that there. Honestly, it was not the biggest concern. I'm actually just going to basically take the triple arch chain here for no other reason than I'm just trying to get people to their Noble Phantasms to make wave 3 easier. And carding out of this won't be too bad. Again, you can see it's wave 3. We are on turn 4. There are 2 enemies remaining. So Ku has his Noble Phantasm. You can go ahead and use it here if you want. I am literally not going to bother with that. Gonna form a Mighty Chain, and it's not gonna kill. Oh, got a lucky crit. It did kill. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and pop the attack up on Caster Ku. We're gonna let Caster Ku fire off his Noble Phantasm. We'll also give him a Brave Chain there, just in case something lives. Dreamer luck, it happens. Okay, battle ended. That easy. Now, early on, you'll find yourself doing a lot of carding. Later on in the game, the meta is to do way more Noble Phantasming. You basically try to 3-turn a lot of nodes just by constantly using Noble Phantasms. That's where you want to end up, but you will not be there that fast. Not unless you kind of know what you're doing and get a little bit of luck on your side too. But it just is what it is. Okay, so we're going to continue on. Yes. God, I've got 43 messages now. Gonna take Castraku yet again. I should probably actually take a Lancer here instead. We'll pull in Hector. You guys will get to see him. Hector's a pretty cool bro. That bar is comically getting better with every clear. It's actually beginning to lag, the emulator. I don't know why. It's like it can't handle it. Okay. We actually have an arch chain. I'm just going to go ahead and send it. At this point, I'm prioritizing speed more than correct card choice because I'm not super worried about it. Okay, so Castraku will have his Noble Phantasm ready. Again, that'll be ready for the third turn. We'll probably just cart our way through. The general premise behind nodes is that certain nodes are abnormal, but usually the way it works is your earlier waves are easier and your last wave is the hardest. Usually. So you can kind of count on that and abuse that aspect. This is a walkthrough of a new account? Yep. I haven't done a new account in a hot second, but felt the need to do it. Okay, so I really actually probably don't need it here, but whatever, let's send it. Usually carding is faster than Noble Phantasming, but I'm not confident since my Hector is level 1 and relatively low attack power that he's going to be able to kill that. I'm also, again, because it's getting to be about 12, I'm going to do my FP roll here, assuming the game lets me. I don't think I'm hard locked in. Usually once you do the initial tutorial summon, you're freed up and you can do other stuff. So you're going to come down over there to that summon button. So again, they're friend points and Saint Quartz. Saint Quartz is your actual gacha currency. There's free Saint Quartz that you get from other things, and then there's paid Saint Quartz. Paid Saint Quartz usually only matters for the purposes of doing your daily paid summon or GSSRs. Otherwise, you can use normal Saint Quartz for other things. There's also summon tickets that can be used. Those are basically just single rolls. It is what it is. We're gonna do our free FP summon because it's actually gonna matter for this account. And our hope here again is that we get additional units that we don't have. We'll actually skip through this here. It'll skip anything I already have. And it will just lead me to the things that I don't have. So we get an archer. We get a rash. Oh, that is amazing. I love having a rash early in the game. I can do so much with a rash early in the game. Okay. Just talking about leveling up craft essences. Honestly, don't worry about leveling up craft essences till later. There's actually really inefficient ways to do it that can hurt your account. So my advice, don't do it. But yeah, you guys can see there, we basically got it done. Oh my God. Away. Now, I only have 560 FP, which means I don't have enough for another 10 pull, okay? Now, this is basically talking about everything that you guys need to know. There's also a summon history screen in here in case you guys haven't ever touched it. You can kind of just go ahead and roll your FP as is. It's not a huge issue. I usually don't bother to roll my FP until I have huge sums, but early in the game, you kind of want like as much FP as possible. It's not a huge deal for me, at least not until I get done with Fuyuki. So it's not going to be a major emphasis yet. Oh, maybe it's just laggy. They're going to keep abusing the extra 200 FP there for that. Okay, so we have the entire Night Triangle and a Berserker. Not really going to matter what I take then in that regard. Arash is an interesting unit because he can actually kill himself, which is highly useful. You wouldn't think that is, but it is actually somewhat useful in a lot of regards. Pull the rewards from the extra quests. I'm not worried about it yet. I was talking about Arash, and here he comes. Yep. Literally just stagger here. Get some overkill. Caster Q's already ready to Noble Phantasm again. You shouldn't kill with one card, so. Yep. Uh-oh. Oh, she barely got it. So we're almost going to get to a Nido Noble Phantasm, and that's really nice because Nidocris actually has some decent capabilities. I'm going to try to do my best to showcase that. We're going to go ahead and fire off Q's NP, but we're going to do a Mighty Chain here. We're going to try to get Nido some additional NP gain. She actually gets a lucky crit. So we are going to get to see Nido's NP on the final wave. We get 2 Noble Phantasms here. This is how carding correctly can pay off for you. It's a little bit of chance, but also a little bit of knowing how to take advantage of things. Now, my Nidocris is not going to hit very hard. She's level 1. She's NP 1. This is what it is. But these are also bronze enemies, and she may actually be able to death proc some of them. If they death proc, they just die. You don't even have to deal damage to them. Now, death proc sounds really strong. There are some limitations to it. I have an entire video talking about it, but the TLDR of it is the higher rarity the enemy is, and if it's a servant especially, the less likely you are to death proc it. So it's really good for farming fodder enemies. There you go. The one on the right there actually got death proc. But it's not good for farming servants or, you know, like bosses, that sort of stuff. If only you had Robin. Oh, don't worry. We'll get him. I'm not really worried about the FP pool, especially now that I got Arash. The other big one I would really like from the FP pool early on is actually Q. Q can be really useful. Okay. Gonna literally throw a Rash in there since he's at least effective damage dealer. Now you can choose to level up your units here. If you feeling like you're struggling somehow, feel free to. I'm not really gonna need it in Fuyuki. It's not a huge concern. Yep. Oh, we're actually backfilling on this one. So it's a 1-on-1 battle, but there are 5 enemies remaining. I'm gonna stagger the cards here. Thankfully, none of the enemies have a Noble Phantasm bar yet, so you don't have to worry about that. That will be a thing in the future. But here you go. So this skeleton enemy has one. Basically, when he gets 4 ticks, aka when 4 turns have passed, or he uses skills to charge it up faster, he will get a Noble Phantasm, and you might die, basically, depending on what the effect is. It's something you should definitely pay attention to, be aware of, and do your best to try to prevent. 8k damage for level 1 isn't bad. You're not wrong. Especially considering I death procced one of those enemies. Come on. Come on, game. You can do it. I believe in you. Game is really struggling. Is this BlueStacks? No, this is LD player is what I'm playing on. Ooh, no Buster card here, so that's a little bit on the annoying side. We could choose to abuse this. I'll actually showcase it a little bit here. This is a Brave Chain for Faber. We led with the Arts card, so all cards get additional MP gain. He does all 3 of his attacks into the same enemy and his extra attack. If you do all of a unit's attacks, they will keep attacking the same enemy over and over and over again, unless you do something to break the chain, like split it with a Noble Phantasm. So like I said, I abused that and he got pretty decent NP gain off of something like that. I'm going to take the triple arch chain here to abuse this, because this fight is functionally over when one of the units gets their Noble Phantasm. We do have one more that'll show up here at the end. We come on! There we go, got that 3.4k crit. Good luck again. And you can see we're perpetually getting more Master experience, more Mystic Code experience. Also, more Embers. Okay, so we have the Cavalry Triangle and Archer. I'm gonna pull in Hector. Actually, what I'll probably do here, not try to counter the Archer. Instead, because this is Cavalry Triangle, my casters here are going to be good against, obviously, casters and assassins. They're going to suck against riders. So I'm actually going to go ahead and rotate the party here. We're going to bring in Satheno to the front line. That Satheno can actually work against that rider for us whenever it shows up. Okay. There's our assassin, but we don't have a Satheno card at the moment. So I'm going to start with the assassin because we can't deal with the rider yet. Just gonna stagger cards there. Rider's gonna get 3 actions, unfortunately, now, but there you go. He hit my my coup who was evading, so it did nothing for it. Okay, now we actually end up having the Satheno cards. I'm gonna go with the triple quick chain here. And then the last enemy will come out and Ku will NP, and we should be fine unless it's a rider. It is not, so we're good. But these are neutral. These are archers, and Ku is a caster, so anybody in a different triangle, you're just probably neutral to them, with a couple of exceptions. So again, a lot of the times I won't use a story support, but this is one of those times where I just don't have a lot of FP. I need as much FP as I can get early and quickly here. So doing this and abusing the story support that's being given to me, since I know the battles aren't tough, it's actually a good thing that you can do early on. Okay, this is casters. And we actually can't use Caster Coup here, which I know why. I'll go ahead and use Kentoki. Kentoki's a fantastic writer. And actually, I don't think I have a writer myself yet. I do not. This will be ideal. I do not want Sathino in the front line, though, because Caster beats Assassin. That really doesn't matter. I go ahead and throw Mash in the front line for this. Mash can actually do some decent work for you. She's a very defensive unit early on in the game, and it's really nice to have her. She has taunt, so she can draw enemy attacks. She has defense for the entire party, and she has that targeted charge and invuln, which is really useful. But this is a very well taken care of Kentoki, so we can all wave goodbye to Caster Coup with literally just one turn here. Kentoki has not really any survivability, but he's got 50% charge. And this particular Kentoki had a 50% charge C on him. So I knew I was going to be able to immediately Noble Phantasm, and that made Caster Coup just die really quickly. And there we go. Again, gonna keep getting tutorial missions. I'll show that off here in a second. We've unleashed Mash's Noble Phantasm, Lord Chaldeus. It increases defense and applies damage cut status to all allies. This is Caster again. I'm gonna go right back in with the Kentoki. Why not, Lucario? Now, you may not be able to find something as quick and as easy to use as this Kentoki. Perfectly fine. Any writer will do here. Caster Coup is not too difficult. Just keep in mind, one of the biggest issues that he has is that dodge. If you can kill him faster, it's to your benefit. If you can't, then you may be stuck dealing with the dodge. It's a 3 times dodge, though, so you can overwhelm it. Okay, so you've got the Dark Cave, and then down here we just have another free quest. So we just want the Dark Cave for right now. It's the story quest. Again, the free quests can be nice, but not the biggest deal. Gonna put Arash back in the front line because we have Saber and Assassin as our enemies. Ooh, that level 18 Coup be showing his damage issues here. I should have popped that early, but whatever. So Coup is actually close to getting his Noble Phantasm naturally anyways. We're going to put his card last. And they didn't kill before it got to his card, so it didn't matter. He actually got the most in P-Gain there. Okay, this is a 2 out of 2. I suspect the middle enemy will live. I actually went too fast there. I tried to select double Arash busters, but it is what it is. Now Arash might die for my sins. Nope. Still no one died. Even with the enemy getting a lucky crit. Okay. Battle done. And that's one of the harder battles you'll even have in all of Fuyuki. What was that noise? Is that the noise it makes when reset happens in the emulator? Yeah. So this is the daily reset that's happening. It's going to force me to log back in. Fine. And in fact, a lot of stuff will reset, so login bonuses, things like that will pop up here again. So down here, you have your mailbox. This is where all of your stuff kind of comes in. It's talking about blue apples, which is how you store AP. It's definitely something you can do early on. I'm not going to exchange these. These are exchange tickets. You get them for doing your dailies and logging in. Basically, they are going to be what like one of the methods that you can use to get ascension materials for. I'm not going to cover that for right now. Not a big deal. You can see we're already getting just a ton of stuff. Again, there's a login campaign right now for this. We've also got daily missions. Though daily missions are literally just, and they are always this way, they're always just complete any 3 quests. And then there's a bonus for getting all 3 of them done. Your weekly missions, there's actually some stuff you maybe need to do, but they're usually not too difficult to do. Again, you can see one of them's performed 30 friend point summons for me. So depending on what you're after, you may have to go do certain things, but it's usually not too hard. Sometimes you'll have time-limited missions. It is what it is. You'll just have to pay attention to those. And there are extra things. These are going to be where your tutorial rewards are going to come from. You can see I'm going to get all of these just for the work that I've already put in. So all of these monuments, all of these pieces, really, really nice. And this is making it so much easier on new accounts. If you're a veteran and you're like looking at this, you're like, oh my god, I cannot believe that they get all of that for free. Yeah, it's ridiculous with how much some of these rewards give for you. Let's actually go do our FP summon real fast here, since it should oh no, sorry, this one resets at the like evening reset at like 8, so we already missed the early reset for that, so not too much to worry about there. Okay, so we're going to continue on in the story here. I'm going to keep abusing Caster Coup as long as the game lets me. We have Archer and Saber here as the other ones, and then Assassin should be handled by both of our casters. So we're going to let Arash do some work. Although, you know what? I'll actually, just a bit of a primer. I'm not going to get too deep into this, but I already know that Arash is one of the units I want to level up. So this is just, if you come in here into the enhanced screen, this is actually where you do all of your leveling up for stuff. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to select Arash. You can do auto select. I am literally just going to kind of let the game do its thing. However, I do want to tell it same class only if possible. So I do have some Archer Embers. I'm going to go ahead and enhance him a little bit. You want to use same class Embers early on because it's to your benefit. There you go. He's now level 7, so he'll actually have a little bit more health, a little bit more attack power. Let's go into the dark cave. And do to note, that is the only unit I've leveled the entire time. Other than, I guess, it made me level Sotheno. That was the game forcing me to do something I didn't want to do. But honestly, you could probably get through all of this even without doing it. I just realized, it's like, well, it's just going to make this battle easier, and I literally know that Arash is one of the units that I want to level regardless. Gonna do the triple arch chain here. Unfortunately, even a level 7 Arash, still not strong enough to kill that. Arash is admittedly a 1-star, so it is what it is. But Arash is actually, even for a 1-star, he's pretty good in some aspects. Gonna stagger cards here. Okay. This assassin putting in work. Assassins are usually pretty crit happy. We actually have a triple arts brave chain for Ku. We will abuse that to get to Ku's NP. We are almost done with the Fiyuki Singularity. Forgot to evade him earlier. I could double Phantasm here, but I think I'll actually use Nitocris. Go ahead and pop her death chance up. I actually abused the Noble Phantasm being arts for a triple arch chain too. That's definitely something you can do. Get used to that. That's one of the like tips and tricks I can give you, is to try to use your cards really effectively even when you're Noble Phantasming. So basically, I just got Arash an additional 20% because I chained him with that Noble Phantasm, despite knowing that he wasn't going to. I also could have pre-carded with Arash if I wanted even more charge. So admittedly, probably not going to be the biggest of concerns here. Caster Ku should at least get both of these close to death. There you go. He also put the burn debuff on him. So the first one dies, and actually that other one will probably die to the burn. Oh, no, it's only 600. I thought it'd be 1,000. There you go. Let Arash get the victory line. And he didn't get it. Big sad. The rare Arash victory line. Almost never get to hear it. Okay, it's loading out. We got assassins, they'll take care of that, and then we have Archer, so Hector's gonna have to come in here and do some work. Nitocris is not going to kill, so... I could go ahead and Wicker Man here, but it's probably not worth. Gonna use the higher level caster's cards to make sure that we secure at least one kill here. Again, assassins are just nasty. They will crit you, so it's usually a good idea to try to like whittle them down as much as possible. We actually almost got Caster Ku to 200% charge. You won't be able to do that with everybody. It will depend on how many Noble Phantasm levels you have, but I believe the story Caster Ku here is at least in P3. Sorry, in P2. There we go. I just healed Nido Chris. We come on. Okay, so only the Shadow Archer lives. It's got burn, it's got defense down. We should make pretty short work of it, but notice it only has a 3 charge Noble Phantasm gauge, and it can get off its Noble Phantasm if you don't treat it with respect. Ooh. Damn, I should have looked at the cards first. Gonna take Hector's Buster cards there. Another interesting fact, in case you guys are wondering, if you have a Noble Phantasm at, like, say with Caster Q there, where it was at 178%, it will not matter. If you use a Noble Phantasm, it will consume the entirety of the gauge. All right, we have our first servant death ever. So Nido Chris is gonna die. She's gonna fade out. You can click to or tap your screen to accelerate that, but basically, you're gonna let Hector here get revenge with a nice, mighty Brave Chain. And the character's not perma-dead. They just... You can't use them again for that battle. That's all it is. Unless you, like, retreat and come back. We should have one more battle, if memory serves. Or use command seals. Yes, that's true. There are some revive mechanics in the game. Oh, I guess there's even more. I didn't realize there were this many fodder battles in the cave. I will try to make this as fast as possible, chat. This part can definitely drag on. Getting through Fuyuki is a little, like, tedious. It's not difficult. It's just tedious. Still didn't kill. SMH. Gonna charge everybody's Noble Phantasm here. You're gonna give me the triple arch chain, I'm gonna abuse it. Gonna keep abusing it. This enemy is not much of a threat. There you go, Nido Chris gets to her Noble Phantasm. Which means we get to death proc. It's actually took me a little bit longer on the first wave, but I basically get to roll through the latter 2 waves now because of this. Okay, neither one got death procced. Unfortunate. Even one death proc would have sped that up quite a bit. Gonna stagger the cards as best I can here. Oh, lucky crit there from Rash, but still not enough. We get 200% from Ku. This will trigger an additional overcharge effect on his Noble Phantasm. If you're curious as to what that is, you can usually see it in the Noble Phantasm info. Again, you can see effect increases with overcharge. Effect increases with overcharge. So basically the defense down and the burn effect will get stronger now. Not the damage. Sometimes it can enhance damage, but not always. Like I said, again, feel like it's taking too long, or you don't, you know, feel like you're able to tough it out, you can always stop, level up your character some. It'll help you out. Just remember, look at like the class triangles. I have a lot of that detailed in the new player guide as well. But the idea behind it is you need to be taking effective counter classes to the nodes. You see, even someone like me, even though I know these nodes are kind of a joke, I'm still kind of trying to like counter class it because I know the units I'm taking are not the best. Yeah, we should be okay with this. Don't have a rider, but is what it is. Well, the good news is you can also have different NP gain rates depending on what enemy types you're facing. It's not the hugest of concerns, but it's something you'll learn over time. Casters are actually the class that you have the best NP gain rate against. So this can actually benefit me here in this node. I should have popped his defense. Yep. I want to kind of get a rash to his Noble Phantasm just to show chat. But it's not easy. Can I abuse this? I basically used that to squeeze out an extra turn here, potentially. Didn't really help. Maybe a little. Ooh, that was close. All right, he got a crit, so we actually get a Rash as Noble Phantasm. The Rash is an AoE archer, and obviously he's not necessarily going to be the most damage, but one of the things he can do is he can fire off his Noble Phantasm, and he'll kill himself. He will rotate the party when that happens. So usually you use him to take out a wave, kill himself, and bring somebody from the back line in. It's a very, very useful mechanic if you plan it appropriately. There you go. Satheno comes in for me now. Let's get a heal Nido Chris just in case I needed a second Noble Phantasm. Because this will probably not kill. Yeah, it didn't. I actually should have switched targets to the other higher health one to whittle it down some. Because now Nido Chris will have to do a little bit of work here. Nobody here is effective against anybody else. Gonna take the level 12 Satheno. Should have a little bit higher attack power than the coup. But at this low level, it's kind of difficult to say. You can check. You can actually see it. All right, we got the death proc on him. Again, it's an undead enemy. It's a bronze enemy. Both those things give higher death proc chances, so... Wait, that counted as an archer class servant? Hilarious. Unless that's maybe one of the ones from before. Okay. Same deal here. Now I can actually go ahead and equip stuff. I have 7 party cost. Yeah, we'll go with this. Give it to a Rash. Having 3 command seals a day for a new player's godsend. That's a good point, actually. If you plan it strategically, you can just use your command seals and not have any issue. So, what does that mean? Well, can literally do something like this. Okay, so we death proc the left one. Right 2 didn't die, but she was effective against it, so it didn't matter. No, he actually didn't kill the one. I guess that's what happens when I use a level 7 Arash. Gonna let him get the brave mighty chain there, because it'll probably be the saber enemy is what's gonna live again. Yep. And you can see, look at that MP gain. Man got back to another Noble Phantasm due to some lucky crits. So you can do things like that to make your life easier. It's definitely a thing. I see Azazel. Okay, this should be the final Fuyuki battle. Archer would be good. You know what? I'm definitely going to remove the Lancer from my backline. Might give me some trouble. And you can see who we're facing. It's Saber Alter. Mash gets to block, though, with her Noble Phantasm. Old Mash sprite kick W. I'm surprised they haven't remade that animation, but is what it is. The old sprites had bigger heads. You got a 22k Saber Alter here. Could definitely get hairy, so be careful. She's got a 4 bar Noble Phantasm gauge. Play accordingly. I'm gonna actually go for maximum damage here more than anything. So I'm doing a QAB Mighty Chain, because it actually is the highest damage Mighty Chain. Quick cards deal the least damage normally. Arts cards deal the middle damage, and Buster cards deal the most. So putting the Buster card third and ordering it in that sequence is usually the best way to get more damage. 97%. I got screwed there. Yeah, I'm gonna take the triple Buster chain here. Again, we're making short work of her. Saber Alter doesn't have any survival skills, so we're good in that regard. Let the Arash cards get in here. And there you go. It's that simple. It definitely helps when you know what you're doing with carding, but it's still, like I said, even if I had chosen different cards, you could basically card your way out of that. And there we go, Fuyuki done. All in all, really quick, really succinct, but like I said, tedious. But then you get the actual opening to the game. This old animation takes me back. Still really good, honestly. Nostalgia. Okay. God, I'm pressing my own phone there. And what's this? We got mash coins. And our first grail. Now, my advice, hold on to your grail early on. They're really useful, and you don't want to use them on the wrong character. And what's the wrong character? You won't know yet. Because it's only after you get more used to the game, you get more familiar with some of the characters, start really developing interests and likes, you start understanding them, that you decide, hey, that's a character I really want to grail. Because you can't take your grails back in any way, so you're kind of stuck with it once you choose to use it. It's also sort of an in-game type of thing, so you don't have to do it that early if you want. Oh, okay, yeah. So this is the guaranteed summon that you guys get. There's a one-time paid Saint Court summon that guarantees one of a certain list of SSR servants. So you could definitely do that. I highly recommend it. Any sort of GSSR, aka guaranteed SSR or guaranteed summon, is usually a really, really good like bang for your buck value. It's gonna allow you to get some really good and useful SSRs early. And again, you guys can see you can also, for one time only, you can have a special summon one servant. You just get to pick them. And so it's really, really nice. So you can pick whoever you want. And now it's telling me that I have unlocked the first singularity, which is Orleans, which is really, really nice. And it'll also show you these are the rewards that you will get for completing it. And this is just telling you the more you do a battle, you'll have a consecutive battle sequence, which just means you won't get the first time clear reward anymore, but you'll still get additional rewards for clearing the battle. And again, we will leave that there. I will continue this one next time, chat. It is late. And again, thank you guys for being here. I will see you guys for the next one. Yeah, you can also store your AP using blue apples if you want. Thank you guys for watching. Good night. Hey, if you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe, right?